In the heart of Los Angeles, where dreams often fray like worn fabric under the city's relentless grind, Miguel Torres wiped sweat from his brow as the clock struck 3 a.m. In the buzzing garment district warehouse. Did you know that over 80,000 garment workers in LA earn less than a living wage? Their backs bent over machines that churn out clothes for the wealthy while they scrape by on pennies? For Miguel, a 25-year-old immigrant from Mexico who crossed the border in 2010 with a visa and a backpack full of hope, this was his brutal reality. He pulled the night shift from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. His hands raw from stitching seams on cheap t-shirts destined for department stores he'd never shop in. Earning just $8.50 an hour, he shared a cramped one-bedroom in Boyle Heights with 3 roommates, splitting the $1,200 monthly rent that left him with scraps after sending $200 home to his parents in Guadalajara. Supervisors sneered at his accent, docking pay for the slightest error. A quarter-inch off on a hem could cost him a meal. The stakes were sky-high. One wrong move, and he'd lose everything, from his fragile foothold in America to the remittances keeping his family afloat. Exhaustion gnawed at him, blurring days into a haze of sleep-deprived fog. But in stolen moments, he'd sketch bold designs on scrap paper, fusing urban LA vibes with Mexican motifs. Yet, who would bet on a factory drone like him? As the machines droned on, a question hung in the humid air. Could these hidden sketches unravel his chains, or would they just tangle him deeper in despair? Miguel's life in America started with promise, but quickly unraveled into a threadbare existence. Arriving in LA's sprawling garment district, he imagined building a future, brick by brick, but the city swallowed him whole. His high school diploma from Mexico meant little here. Jobs were scarce for someone without connections or perfect English. He landed the factory gig through a cousin's tip, grateful at first for the steady paycheck that let him wire money home. But the routine crushed him. 12-hour shifts left his body aching, fingers blistered and bandaged with whatever rags he could find. Mornings, he'd collapse onto a thin mattress in the shared apartment, the sounds of traffic on Interstate 10 lulling him into fitful sleep. He skipped lunches to save, surviving on rice and beans from the corner market, all while telling his family over crackly phone calls that he was thriving. Deep down, Miguel clung to a flawed belief that sheer hard work would elevate him, like the stories of self-made Americans he'd heard. But reality mocked that notion. Promotions went to insiders, and his ideas were dismissed as fantasies. "Stick to the line, Torres," a boss barked once, crumpling one of his sketches. Contempt seeped in from all sides. Co-workers whispered about illegals taking jobs, ignoring how Miguel outworked them all. He pedaled 15 miles on a rusty bike for side deliveries after shifts, dodging LA's chaotic streets to earn extra cash. By 2012, doubt crept in stronger. His parents' letters begged for more help, his sister's school fees mounting. He believed creativity was a luxury for others, not for a guy like him buried in debt and deadlines. Yet, those late-night doodles persisted, vibrant patterns inspired by Boyle Heights murals and Aztec heritage. As rent climbed to $1,400, forcing him to cut even more corners, Miguel wondered if this was a lifetime stitched into invisibility. But what if one bold thread could pull him free, or snap under the weight? The storms hit harder than a Pacific downpour. In 2012, a major client bailed, triggering layoffs that swept Miguel out like discarded scrap. He hit the pavement, submitting applications to 20 factories in a frantic week, only to face rejection 19 times. The 20th offer was a downgrade, a dingy sweatshop downtown, paying $7.75 an hour, with shifts stretching to 14 hours during peaks. Supervisors were harsher, docking pay for bathroom breaks over 5 minutes, treating him like machinery rather than a man. Physical toll mounted. Lifting heavy bolts slipped a disc in his back, leaving him writhing in pain for 3 days without sick leave, popping $10 painkillers from a pharmacy on Cesar Chavez Avenue. Emotionally, it shattered him. Letters from home, piled guilt, his sister needing tuition he couldn't fully cover. He lied in responses, claiming prosperity while his world shrank. A false conviction held him. If he endured, reward would come. But after 6 months, a nepotism hire snagged the supervisor spot he'd eyed. Isolation deepened. Friends faded as he prioritized survival. Then, in March 2014, catastrophe struck the sweatshop, shuttered amid labor violations, inspectors swarming like locusts. Unemployment hit with $300 in savings, eviction notices fluttering under his door. He crashed on a friend's couch in East LA, eating dollar store ramen, scanning ads in vain. Rock bottom clawed at him. Self-doubt screamed he was a failure, unworthy of dreams. Why chase sketches when factories begged for bodies? Tears blurred his vision one night as he stared at crumpled designs. Would this be the end? Swallowing him into deportation's shadow, or the spark to ignite something fierce? Miguel clawed back with raw determination, forging a path from the ashes. He imposed the ironclad routine, rising at 5 a.m. in his makeshift space, sketching for 2 hours before sewing prototypes under a flickering lamp. Free resources became his lifeline. He biked to the Los Angeles Public Library, devouring Khan Academy courses on business basics and YouTube tutorials for design software. Tracking progress meticulously, he noted 47 supplier rejections in his first month. Each no, a sting he turned into fuel. To fund it, he juggled landscaping gigs at $10 an hour, 3 days a week, his hands calloused from both shears and needles. Early failures tested him. His initial batch of 20 shirts shrank disastrously in testing, wasting $150 in fabric. He iterated relentlessly, washing samples 50 times over 2 weeks to perfect dyes. By late 2015, he'd scraped together $5,000 from sporadic market sales, launching a bare-bones website. Traffic was glacial, 100 visitors the first month, no orders, but he posted daily on social media, amassing 500 followers with tales of his factory struggles. A glimmer came in January 2016. An influencer donned his jacket, boosting orders to 15 weekly. Scaling brought fresh hurdles. 3 loan denials for poor credit forced a Kickstarter campaign, raising $8,000 from 200 backers in 30 days. With it, he produced 50 pieces, but printer delays lost 10 customers. He made amends personally, biking 30 miles across LA to deliver. Habits solidified. Daily 5-mile walks to meetings saved fares, clearing his mind for innovation. As 2017 approached, monthly revenue hit $2,000, but exhaustion loomed. Sleepless nights, questioning sustainability. Then, a promised $10,000 investor vanished, maxing his credit cards at $5,000. Would this betrayal bankrupt him before takeoff, or forge an unbreakable resolve? That pivotal wave crested in a sun-drenched Silver Lake flea market in March 2014. With his last $200, Miguel bought remnant fabrics, 10 yards of cotton and denim, and crafted his debut jacket, embroidered with Aztec motifs meets graffiti edge. Nerves jangling, he manned a wobbly table Saturday, heart sinking as browsers passed without a glance. 0 sales. Sunday dawned with doubt, but a young woman paused, eyes lighting up. "This captures LA's soul," she said, handing over $50. That single transaction electrified him like a seam finally aligning. In that moment, Miguel decided, no more factories. He'd bootstrap fully, quitting the grind to chase his vision. A call from his sister sealed it. She credited his support for her nursing degree, urging persistence. Shaking off fear, he committed, transforming desperation into drive. But could this fragile start withstand the industry's cutthroat weave? Transformation unfolded like a meticulously tailored suit. Summer 2017 brought the breakthrough. A TikTok video of a street dancer in his hoodie exploded to 1 million views in 48 hours. Revenue rocketed from $2,000 to $15,000 monthly by September. Miguel hired his first employee, a former co-worker, at $15 an hour, double his old wage. A pop-up on Melrose Avenue drew 300 visitors opening weekend, clearing $10,000 in stock. By 2018, a $50,000 loan enabled a Vernon warehouse lease. Setbacks persisted. Copycats forced a 6-month legal fight, costing $5,000. but he patented designs and pressed on. Annual revenue hit $250,000, funding $1,000 monthly family wires. LA Weekly spotlighted him as a rising star, sparking boutique deals. In 2019, his downtown LA flagship employed 10. The 2020 pandemic slashed sales 60%, shuttering the store for 3 months. Pivoting, he produced cultural print masks, selling 5,000 at $10 each and donating 1,000 to hospitals. E-commerce boomed to $500,000 yearly. By 2022, Urban Roots reached $2 million in sales, stocked at Urban Outfitters, with 30 staff. Miguel's income soared to $150,000 annually, from $8.50 hourly drudgery to CEO oversight, directing campaigns, hitting 5 million impressions. The scars of struggle made success profound. By 2025, at 40, Miguel stood transformed, no longer the bowed worker but a poised leader. Gratitude flowed deep for mentors met at networking events, communities that lifted him, and failures that tempered his spirit. He founded a Boyle Heights nonprofit, hosting free design workshops for over 500 immigrants in 5 years, many birthing their own brands. Yearly, he sponsored $10,000 scholarships at East Los Angeles College. Visiting his old factory, he'd donate clothes and share. "I was you. Start small, persist." Family thrived. He flew his parents stateside, buying them a home nearby. Married in 2023, fatherhood grounded him. Every rejection had built this proof that barriers yield to perseverance. His TEDx talks inspired thousands. One sketch today can redefine tomorrow. From Boyle Heights shadows to Hollywood Hills vistas, Miguel's journey wove despair into destiny. As he gazed from his office on the 22nd of September 2025, the city lights twinkled like stars he'd once reached for in vain. His story whispers, potential hides in persistence. Grab that sketchpad today. One small thread can weave your empire. Comment, Day 1, if this ignites your start.